Some artists explode onto the scene and become superstars, only for their reign to be short-lived. In this video, we'll look at 8 dominant eras that didn't last long in the 2020s. Megan Thee Stallion. Going into the 2020s, Megan Thee Stallion was everywhere. Her remix of Savage featuring Beyonce became a defining anthem of the early pandemic, peaking at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, winning 2 Grammy Awards, Best Rap Song and Best Rap Performance, after going viral on TikTok with over 22 million videos made to it. She followed up that success by collaborating with Cardi B on WAP, which debuted at number 1, broke streaming records, and sparked national controversy while cementing Megan as one of the biggest female rappers. Her debut album Good News debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 with 100,000 units sold in its first week, a good number for a new artist in the streaming era. But the rapid rise wasn't followed by long-term dominance. While Megan continued to release singles and perform on major platforms like SNL, award shows, and even TV shows, her post-Good News output didn't have the same commercial success. Her 2022 sophomore album Trauma debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 with 63,000 units, a drop from her debut. Many of the singles failed to chart inside the top 40. At the beginning of 2024, she got another number 1 with her diss track against Nicki Minaj Hiss, but fell off the charts in a couple of weeks. She followed that up with her latest self-titled album in June 2024, which debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, earning 64,000 units in its first week. Megan's career remains successful by many metrics. She has a loyal fan base, multiple brand partnerships, and strong social media presence. But the dominant era she had during the height of Savage and WAP didn't last long. Legal battles with her former label and the controversy she got into after being shot by Tory Lanez at the start of the decade has made her road in the industry very rocky. Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X redefined virality with 2019's Old Town Road, but it was in the early 2020s that he stepped into full-fledged pop superstardom. His debut album Montero in 2021 was a cultural event, launching 3 top 10 hits: Montero, Call Me By Your Name, which peaked at number 1, Industry Baby with Jack Harlow, which also peaked at number 1, and That's What I Want, which peaked at number 8. The rollout was massive, with amazing and controversial visuals and genius marketing, which made Lil Nas X a chart powerhouse. Montero debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, moving 126,000 units in its first week, a strong showing for a debut. He also received multiple Grammy nominations and performed at nearly every major award show in 2021 and 2022, from the VMAs to the BET Awards. However, after the Montero era ended, his momentum started to slow down. He spent most of 2023 and early 2024 away from music, occasionally dropping new material, but failing to capitalize on his breakthrough album success. His comeback single J. Christ, released in early 2024, sparked controversy, but failed to chart in the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 69, which was underwhelming. His follow-up single Where Do We Go Now failed to chart on the Hot 100 altogether, and he tried to kickstart his Dream Boy era, dropping single after single that failed to chart. Lil Nas X's cultural impact in the early 2020s was huge, but his dominant reign, while iconic, was short. 6ix9ine. Few artists in modern music history have burned as brightly and as briefly as 6ix9ine. After emerging in 2017 with aggressive, distorted hits like Gummo, he dominated headlines with controversy after controversy, with his rainbow hair and social media antics. His 2018 debut album Dummy Boy debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, powered by streaming juggernauts like Fifi featuring Nicki Minaj, which peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and has now been certified 8 times platinum. But by 2019, he was arrested for racketeering, and that put a stop to his career altogether. But after he snitched on his friend, and he came home from prison and made his comeback in 2020, breaking the Instagram Live record to announce his single Gooba, which shattered the YouTube record for the most views in 24 hours for a rap song. The song went on to peak at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. He followed it up with Trolls, his collaboration with Nicki Minaj, which debuted at number 1, making it his first chart topper. But in his second week, the song dropped all the way to number 34, which was a record at the time. Despite these numbers, the album Tattletale sold only 53,000 units in its first week, an underwhelming result compared to the online dominance of his singles. His hype seemed to die off quick. By 2021, 6ix9ine had largely disappeared from the mainstream. His follow-up singles failed to chart meaningfully, and his international fan base diminished. Even though he transitioned into Latin music, the public was fatigued by the constant controversy, and everybody distanced themselves from him. As of 2025, 6ix9ine releases singles from time to time, but nothing has seemed to stick. Rody Rich. At the start of the new decade, Rody Rich arrived with a bang. His debut studio album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, was released at the end of 2019 and debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, spending 4 non-consecutive weeks at the top, a rare achievement for a debut rap album. His breakout single, The Box, became unstoppable in early 2020, spending 11 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and accumulating over 2.1 billion Spotify streams to date. It became one of the year's most streamed songs globally and solidified Rody Rich as the new face of melodic rap. He followed that up with a feature on DaBaby's Rockstar, which also hit #1 on the Hot 100 and stayed there for 7 weeks. In 2020, Rody was everywhere, from radio to TikTok to major award shows. However, expectations were sky high for his follow-up album Live Life Fast, which came in 2021 and debuted at #4 on the Billboard 200. It was met with bad reviews, and with only 62,000 units sold in its opening week and lacking a big hit to carry the album, it faded quickly. Despite releasing music through 2023 and 2024, Rody struggled to recapture the cultural dominance he had, with his 2022 mixtape Feed the Streets 3 underperforming. He is about to release his new album, The Navy Album, but there's no real hype for it. His fall from grace was not because of a scandal. People just kind of moved on. Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow's rise from mixtape darling to mainstream heartthrob peaked in 2022 with his sophomore album Come Home The Kids Miss You, riding the momentum of the chart-topping single First Class, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and heavily sampled Fergie's Glamorous. Jack Harlow was everywhere. He landed brand endorsements with New Balance, was featured on Call of Duty campaigns, and earned a leading role in the White Man Can't Jump reboot. The album debuted at #3 on the Billboard 200, selling 113,000 equivalent units in its first week, but it had mixed reviews from critics and fans. The album was criticized for weak production and surface-level lyricism. Though it earned a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Album, it was widely considered one of the weaker nominees that year. He was being hyped up to become the new Drake, but he couldn't live up to the expectations. He took a step back for a couple of months, and in 2023, he came back with Jackman, a rap-heavy project that had no pop hits and was released in order to connect with his core fan base. Then he released the #1 hit Lovin' On Me, which topped the charts for 6 weeks, but the song wasn't followed up with an album, and that era fizzled. While Jack may be able to deliver hits, his dominant It Boy status in mainstream rap lasted for about 12 to 18 months. Ice Spice. Ice Spice emerged as one of the most talked about breakout stars of 2023. Her viral hit Munch captured the energy of sexy drill, leading to a record deal with 10K Projects and cosigns from Drake and Nicki Minaj. Her debut EP Like was released in January 2023 and featured hits like Princess Diana with Nicki Minaj and In Her Mood. She was also featured on Boys a Liar Part 2 with Pink Panthers and Karma by Taylor Swift. She was involved in 4 top 10 hits just in 2023. She became a staple on magazine covers and red carpets. Despite this explosive start, her commercial momentum didn't continue for long. Ice Spice's debut album Y2K, released in 2024, underperformed, with only 37,000 units sold in its first week. It failed to debut in the top 5 of the Billboard 200 and struggled to generate any breakout hits. She got killed online, with many pointing out the repetitive flows and an over-reliance on the same formula. She didn't have the versatility to hold attention in the 2020s. Audiences began to question whether her hype was justified. Now in 2025, Ice Spice's streaming numbers have plateaued, and all the media coverage she had is gone. Though she still has some engagement on social media, her dominance on the charts was short-lived. Her initial run in 2023 put her on the map, but her inability to evolve quickly has made it difficult to maintain her status as a top-tier pop act. DaBaby. In 2020, DaBaby was at the top of the world. He released Blame It On Baby, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. with over 124,000 first-week units, and the single Rockstar featuring Rody Rich topped the Hot 100 for 7 non-consecutive weeks and went 6 times platinum. It was one of the most streamed songs globally that year. He also appeared on dozens of major remixes and singles, becoming the go-to feature artist, with huge collaborations with artists like Dua Lipa, Megan Thee Stallion, and Camila Cabello. However, the oversaturation of DaBaby's flow led to fatigue. Critics began saying that many of his songs followed the same formula. Then came a series of controversies that derailed his momentum. During his 2021 Rolling Loud performance, he made homophobic remarks that sparked backlash from fans and brands. He was dropped from major festival lineups, lost sponsorships, and saw a decline in public support. The fallout was immediate. His 2022 project Baby on Baby 2 debuted on number 34 on the Billboard 200 with just 17,000 first-week units, a big drop from the success of his earlier albums. The singles released since have failed to gain traction on the Hot 100, and his music was quietly phased out. While DaBaby is still releasing music and performing in modest venues, his early 2020s dominance evaporated almost overnight, making his story one of the most dramatic examples of a short-lived dominant era. Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke's emergence in 2019 felt like a start of a movement. With his breakout hit Welcome to the Party, he injected new life into Brooklyn drill and became the genre's biggest star. That same year, Beat the Woo 2 debuted on number 7 on the Billboard 200 with the huge hit Dior, branding him one of the rising stars in rap. However, just weeks after the project's release, Pop Smoke was tragically killed in a home invasion in LA at the age of 20, cutting short what looked like a promising career. After his passing, his posthumous debut studio album Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, released in July 2020, was a massive commercial success. The album debuted on number 1 on the Billboard 200, with 250,000 units sold in its first week. It spawned a lot of Billboard Hot 100 hits, including For the Nights and What You Know About Love, and went on to be certified 2 times platinum by the RIAA. The album stayed in the Billboard 200's top 10 for 34 weeks, showcasing rare longevity. Pop Smoke also became one of the most streamed artists of 2020, finishing the year in Spotify's global top 10 despite his absence. The dominance was unsustainable because he's now no longer here. His second posthumous album, Faith, in 2021 debuted on number 1, but received mixed reviews, and it was clear that his estate was running out of new material. Since then, Pop Smoke's name has remained relevant in hip-hop, but he was taken from us too soon. Had he lived, many believed he would have defined the entire 2020s New York rap scene. He was a legend in the making, whose peak was tragically short-lived. Which dominant eras that didn't last long in the 2020s did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.